feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted. You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head. I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing?
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion, even though I offer all of the solutions. I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless. I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me? And 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 will you get bored of killing me? But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted. You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head. I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're who's always sorry, the conclusion. Even though I offer all of the solutions, I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you, I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you, I knew this. When I'm with you, I feel so useless. I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you, I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares. See me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me? And 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 will you get bored of killing me? But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares. See me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you, I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted. You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head. I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares. See me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion. Even though I offer all of the solutions, I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you, I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you, I knew this. When I'm with you, I feel so useless. I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you, I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares. See me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me? And will you get bored of killing me?
you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted. You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head, I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares. See me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion, even though I offer all of the solutions. I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless, I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt, never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm, I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares. See me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me? And 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 will you get bored of killing me?
I'm sorry, I couldn't get the binoculars out in time.
Look, well, let's not stand on ceremony, mate. Let's start the show.
All right, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy 8-Bit. We are back at y'all with a brand new video once again. Let me get my game visual plugged in. This thing is giving me a little bit of a, there we go. Okay. Cool. So kind of wanted to touch on some stuff that your boy was thinking about over here. I've been a little under the weather, so my apologies if my voice sounds a little bit weird. Your boy been recovering from a cold over here. So as we pick up these dispatch rewards. Now, a couple of things, like I said, I wanted to get into. You see the title and the thumbnail. So I was thinking it was around the anniversary. Turns out it was like a month after, but the deal was entitled the anniversary finale, right? So for the finale of the anniversary, for the June update preparation event, they came with the 10-year anniversary finale CTP crafting event. And what this thing actually did was it allowed you to trade in CTPs. So if you had, say, a CTP of Transcendence or a CTP of Patience that you wanted to trade in for a CTP of Rage, you could do so under certain conditions. And this thing also worked on Mighty and Brilliant CTPs. We'll talk more about this later in the stream, but kind of the theme on what we were going to be discussing tonight, seeing as how we do have a few events left to be disclosed that they haven't quite let us know about yet. I do believe there are 3. Let's go ahead and do Otherworld Battle, because that's kind of the most mind-numb game mode that I have available to me right now while we chop this up. And then we'll get into what I've been doing for the anniversary and all of this jazz. So, like I said, if you go back over here, we have the Black Friday 3rd week that has not been disclosed yet. And the first 2 weeks were the was this 15,000 crystal giveaway. That was really kind of a flop event. It ended early. It was kind of wonky. It was really, really weird. I really didn't speak much on it, but I know a lot of people have been commenting about it. Like, I still had tokens left and all of this shit. So I'm really wondering if all of the rewards were actually distributed, but that's kind of a topic for another video. They also had the bingo event that went on during that first week, and then now we're in the second week, so we're getting the CTP, I mean not CTP, the special pass, and then the hero growth discount material. So it does look like we're gonna get at least 3 tier 4s, which is dope, because you know, this is the 3rd week of stuff down here. And those are those 2 selectors. So yeah, maybe this is actual purchase stuff. So that may be where I'm getting that a little bit confused. But this does say special pass clear reward. So we'll get over into the special pass and see what's up with that. And then, like I said, we had this undisclosed event coming soon, so that should be starting day after tomorrow, I do believe, December 2nd. So we got a couple of days before this thing kicks off. And from the looks of it, it looks to be 3 different events. I also had this thing pulled up to kind of compare it from the 10-year anniversary. But we can talk about this a little later, maybe even in another video. I do think that this portion of it was a little bit better because you actually got access to select a 4-star artifact, as opposed to the dimension chest for the mythic stuff. So you know, for the bang for my buck, that artifact selector is a little bit better, but that's going to be subjective to where you are in the game. So yeah. So let's go ahead and pick up right quick. Let's see here. We need to do a GBR so we can get this out the way. But yeah. Yeah, I think that given a few tweaks, that CTP selector, or no, the CTP conversion event would actually be right on time for a lot of players, myself included. Now, I don't think they did anything so far that has been premium card related, like a premium card crafting quest, similar to what they did for the anniversary. But they are doing everything as far as the dropping of the characters and whatnot, as far as the tier 4 selectors are concerned. So they're actually not doing a bad job there. Okay, and we are right there to get another CTP. So what all do we have left as far as the events are concerned because we want to make sure that we're not missing out there as well, so we can maximize our rewards. No lettering event this go round either, which, you know, is kind of weird. Now, I was thinking about just go ahead and picking up a bunch of these random team up collection joints right here, because they are 15 a wop, which is not a small number. I can definitely use the one for the X genes, or the ones for the X-Men, the X-Force. I also thought about using it on this, let me not get that, on this premium character selector, but all the premium characters are not here. Professor X is not a part of this. Neither is Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I could pick up Black Knight. But I may just wait and see if I can pick him up as an allied shifter or something. As a majority of these characters are a lot easier to acquire with the Dimension Mission. If you don't know what I'm talking about, all of those so-called premium characters you can pick up through this Dimension Mission. Oh, where are they? Where are they? Okay, it's not this one. That's where Negasonic and Franklin and Rachel and all of them are. And some of those characters are there. But then the rest of them you'll pick up as a shifter here if you're running the mission. So I may just go back through and acquire those characters that way. Actually, I don't see Black Knight here. Huh. Yeah, I see Magic. I don't see Black Knight. So maybe I'm just missing them, but the newer characters are at the top. I see Sleeper, and all of them, Wendell Vaughn. But it may just be more advantageous to acquire them via purchase. And then use those tokens elsewhere. I do have one more reset day for those tokens in particular. See, 70, so that'll be 90, that'll be 100. So it reset tomorrow. I'll be able to pick up the tier 4 selector for this guy as well. We did fall short a couple of days, but still got plenty of time to get all of the rewards. All right. Nice long animation on the 4, was able to clear that. And then we're also on the premium card crafting quest for this guy. So I don't know why that's not. Oh, there it is. Card crafting quest. Okay, I was wondering what the next step was. No, we are not doing that because I don't want to change my normal options because this card is actually rolled pretty damn good. It's actually rolled perfectly. Okay, so it's saying it wants me to use a boost comic card there. Yeah, but that's not the correct boost. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to convert one of those premium cards into a boost card. Let's go ahead and hit the check-in right quick. So, oh yeah, what other progress have we made? We are at 30 on the gears for my guy Mephisto. The only reason why we have not taken this guy to tier 4 yet is not because we haven't had the materials. We actually kind of have, but we've been using those materials to take Gwenpool's gears to 30 as well. And then we'll just stack up all of the materials we need in order to take both to tier 4. So we're going to be doing a double tier 4 here in the near future, as well as the tier 4 for the selector. So yeah, we're pretty lined up to get at least 3 tier 4s off in rapid succession. Let's see, we also cleared stage, the requirements to unlock stage 50. of this guy so we can go in here and get ourselves a 5-star artifact for the reroll. So let's go ahead and set this up with my guy. Yeah, a little more crit damage wouldn't hurt, as opposed to the straight lightning resist. Yeah, those work. Throw some tier 2s in there. Hey, yo, Shot Guy 79, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. I don't know why I came up as Shot Guy now. Hey, ain't that Bubba? Oh, crap, my bad. Nice. Okay. Cool. We were actually able to get him down before he jumped into the phase. So, actually pretty dope. Now, if we can get something nice out of that box, that'll be a pretty good darn haul. Okay, let's go ahead and get our Alliance battle participation out of the way. And we're gonna go around our timeline battles and be in line to pick up that tier 4. Actually, you know what? I don't think it makes a difference, but I'm gonna try throwing Deadpool in here first. See if we can get the Frost Beast to spawn. I guess not. This guy barely has 20,000, 30 seconds in. So yeah, man, what are y'all thoughts on this? DJ, what's going on? Welcome back, man. Everybody got different monikers and shit. I gotta get, I gotta get used to y'all's new handles. But yeah, man, what do y'all think the new mystery event or events are gonna be? Heading out for Black Friday. As far as the finale is concerned, you know, we had brought this up over here on this channel before. As far as them bringing back this whole event. Enough for the CTP? It is. Yeah, so let's go ahead and pick up. And go ahead and open a rift as well. Would be nice if I could get a CTP, a competition. I don't think it's a competition in that random chest just yet. No, the competition is in there. It's the conquest. CTP, a conquest isn't in there. That's the one that I need too. Wouldn't be mad if I got a liberation. Just as long as I don't get, like, you know, destructions and all of that shit. maybe an archive event too. Yeah, those archive events do be dropping some good shit. It really just depends on what they put in there. You know what I mean? If it's like a premium tier 2 selector, that would be nice, but you know, that would be nice for most players in the game. It wouldn't necessarily be something that I needed. So, you know, your boy got to be a little bit greedy sometimes. But I also try to think in terms of, you know, yeah, it's something that I could use, but it's also something that I know a lot of other players, majority of players can use as well, like right away. A premium card isn't necessarily something that you can use right away. Neither is a CTP, but you got better action at being able to smash that thing into a mighty and just rock it out. A lot sooner than, you know, investing in fully crafting and re-rolling the card and all of that shit. More cards are more of a long-term investment, you know, long-term payoff for sure. But you still also have to have those short-term gains that keep players coming back. I think that's kind of where CTPs fall, is in that shortfall game sort of category. They need to let us combine tier 2 tickets to mega tier 2 tickets. That would be fucking dope. There's also an argument to be made that giving us the second custom gear slot, not sure if that'll ever happen at this point, but yeah, this thing right here, this is definitely something that they need to bring back. As you can see, they let this thing run for a week. So yeah, from the 27th to the 6th, and I think it was 31 days in that month, so that's just 7. from the 27th of May until the 3rd of June. So that was actually dope. And you would go in here and you would get these converter activation. I think you got these from crafting materials and shit, because it was a crafting event. And you craft that up, and then that would give you the you would do the converters plus the gold equal the advanced material chest, and you would craft 70 of them joints. Any 2 normal type of CTPs plus 100,000 gold would get you an event token that you could use for a normal CTP. It took, I think, 2 of them to get a no. It took 1 of them to get a normal CTP, and then you could do the mighty CTP, any mighty CTP plus 250,000 gold, and that would get you a mighty token joint. And then for the brilliant, I think it took, what was it? For the brilliant selector, you had to use 2 of these tokens. So you had to take a brilliant CTP plus 500,000 gold, and that got you the brilliant token. Then you would take the brilliant token and your extra normal token, and that would get you a brilliant selector. Now, what they kind of need to do is flip this thing, because everybody doesn't have a brilliant to burn. So what they should do, like a lot of people have a lot of extra CTPs, just not necessarily a brilliant. So what they should do is just make this thing like 3 normal CTPs can get you a brilliant, or maybe a mighty CTP, or 2 mighty CTPs plus a normal CTP can get you a brilliant. And I think players are jelly for that. And then for the mighties, they could keep them the same, and for the normals, they could keep them the same, because those are easy enough to get. But brilliants are more rarefied air. And by this thing being a selector and you being able to get in there and select, I think all of the newest CTPs all the way up to Liberation at the time was dope. So, you know, this is definitely one of the things that they need to bring back. It also came with some art book stuff. Let's see, Alliance Store double donation events, daily gold event. So yeah, it came with quite a few things. The Groot joint. Oh, I accidentally clicked on it. So yeah, definitely need to bring back the 10-year CTP crafting event. One of the best events they've had in the game, honestly. Let you trade in some trash and get something marvelous out of it. Yeah, it's already December, bro. But now, an archive event would be nice, but I think a crafting event would be easier for players to keep up with. Whereas those archive events, they're not very difficult. But they do wind up being a little more time consuming. And a little more difficult to keep track of. And then, like I said, we haven't had anything as far as like a premium card crafting quest like what they brought with the anniversary either, which was also a first. So maybe we get a little bit of both. Maybe we get the CTP thing and the card crafting quest all at the same time. Maybe they put a few more new cards or newer cards in the card crafting quest, which would be dope. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. You know, that card crafting quest was more of a new player oriented thing anyway, whereas the CTP thing was more, yeah, new players could get involved, but if you had been playing the game for like, I would say 6 months or less, you really couldn't take advantage of it like you wanted to. Like the odds of you having a brilliant CTP were really, really slim to have something to trade in. And odds are if you got a brilliant CTP, it's probably something really good that you're not going to want to trade anyway. So that was the only trade-off. But they still should have been able to at least double up on a couple of mighties. Because if you've been playing the game 3 months, well, yeah, if you've been playing the game 3 months and you catch it during the right event, where you can get you a CTP from the token joint. Maybe you get lucky and get something from Cosmic Core, but that's no guarantee. But the 28-day login event CTP is, and You know, those sorts of things. Maybe you hurry up and blast through and get the CTP from one of the legendary battles or something like that. You know, even as a, like I said, 3 to 6 months or 4 to 6 month player, you should have access at enough CTPs where you should be able to walk away from something like that with at least 2 mighties. You know, maybe you trade in a mighty energy for a rage, and then maybe you have another rage sitting there in your inventory, and you're waiting for the second one, or a competition or something like that, and you're waiting for a second one. So you trade that joker in and get you one, or you trade in a you know, a transcendence or something that you wind up picking up, and really win. And like I said, you walk away with yourself 2 mighty CTPs as opposed to, you know, 3 or 4 CTPs that you can't use separately. And all you had to do to get those things was play dispatch and dimension missions. And like I said, the last time that thing came around, I got myself a mighty liberation. No, I got a brilliant liberation. Yeah, I got a brilliant liberation, mighty competition or something like that. And then I think I got one more regular competition. So, or a rage or something like that I smash together with another rage to make a mighty rage. It was something like that. And I think the most valuable CTP that I gave up throughout all of that was a brilliant energy. So really wasn't too tripping on that. It's like, yeah, I'll give up a brilliant energy for a brilliant liberation all day long. Because even though it's a support CTP, support characters and support CTPs, they've tended to hold their value. Insight hasn't really lost value since it came out. The energy has, the destruction has. You know, judgment kind of has, authority kind of has. The egg and the regen kind of fell out. So, you know, all of these once premium CTPs have kind of fallen by the wayside. You think they'll give us a random brilliant from the crafting event before they bring it back? I hope not, because that was an absolutely brilliant event. Like, I said this a long time ago. As far as characters go, this has not been the most. This hasn't been the best year. by far. We've gotten some of the strongest characters in the game that we've seen so far, yeah. But, you know, in terms of volume of characters, in terms of parity, it really hasn't been there, right? In terms of competition amongst different characters, really hasn't been there, right? Variety, right? We really haven't had a lot of that. So, but what we have had in its place is a lot of rewards. The anniversary CTP trade-in event, first of its kind, and kind of groundbreaking in a sense. You know what I mean? It's something that they really need to consider bringing back. Like every year, you know, at least once a year, if not twice a year, because you get so many trash CTPs, right? And it would incentivize players. Something like this, bro. Something like this, what you're really doing is you're telling players, hey, yeah, we know RNG in the game sucks, right? But if you just hang tight for 6 months, we'll hit you with one of these joints. And you can take some of that bullshit you've been getting throughout the year and you can trade it in. So don't quit, right? You know, the grind is the reason why a lot of players quit, is because you grind for these resources, and, you know, the gears beat you up on the characters. The RNG, as far as the rerolls for the cards and the CTPs, is so bad. Where at least, you know, if you're getting nothing but transcendence and patience and eggs and shit like that, regens, right? Shit that you just can't use, really. You know, even if it's only 3, you're talking about a brilliant CTP, bro. Trade in. That represents so much. You know, you're talking about, oh, I got a shitload of transcendence. I can take 2 of them jokers, smash them together, and then all of a sudden I got a mighty rage. What? A mighty judgment. What? Man, say, give me that all day long. You know, now what I would do is maybe if, you know, maybe it's an overall limit, right? So say you have a craft limit. Maybe you can craft 4 normal CTPs. Maybe you can craft, you know, 2 mighties, right? And a normal, or maybe you can craft 1 of each. I think that works too, right? If they don't want to say, well, you know, you can trade in these 4 or 5 CTPs for a brilliant. Okay, fine. Increase the number on this. Increase this craft limit. You know what I mean? To where I can at least, man, say, and that would be so gravy. And like I said, they don't got to lose their mind and, you know, or none of that, but You know, if I got 4 transcendents and say I want to trade them joints in for 4 normal other types of CTPs, you know, 4 rages or 4, maybe not even 4 rages, maybe a rage, a judgment, liberation, and an insight. Because I got those on characters that I want to turn into a mighty. I mean, there's so many different ways to skin that cat. And if you give players those sorts of options to where they can, you know, every 6 months I can go in here and I can get myself 3 or 4 mighty CTPs. Well, like I said, you come in here and get yourself a couple of straight up mighties. Or you come in here and you get yourself a you know, a brilliant. I mean, they gave away 3 CTPs the last time that were the equivalent of, like I said, a brilliant on 21% chance up. That's what the CTP you use to roll plus 7 more. So that's 8 CTPs plus at least 2 for the mighty. That's 10. That's representative of at least 11 CTPs right there. When you think about it. I mean, yeah, you could get lucky on, like, you know, a high chance up with a low CTP count, but like instead of maxing it out, you only put 1 of them joints in there. Yeah, you could get lucky. You also could get completely rinsed. I mean, like I said, Alex mentioned it a few videos back. When they put the guaranteed joints in there for the CTPs, and he's for the pity timer, and he was like, that's the whole reason why Godzilla Nader left, was because you didn't have a pity timer on that joint. I guarantee, even without the pity timer, because this came out first, this you know, that pity timer shit is fairly new, and wasn't out before the anniversary. This came out with the anniversary, or at the end of it, you know what I mean? And I guarantee if they had came out with this, you know, before Godzilla Nader left, it would have been like, oh, okay, well, you're kind of showing me that you want to do right by players. That's what an event like this is saying. You know. So you know, I think for the life of the game, it's kind of important that they have events like that pretty regularly. You know, if not every year, you know, every 6 months at least. Let me get on that ass. All right. Yeah, because I was catching some of those, you know, later streams with Godzillinator and all of these sorts of guys. And yeah, I should have switched. Oh, this dude got almost 800,000 HP. God damn. No wonder. Oh, I got myself cornered. Hmm. Oh, that's wild. And my heal didn't go off. Yeah. I know it was some wonky shit when my heal didn't go off. Okay, we just ain't gonna be able to move out the corner with the V-pad, huh? Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Nice. Oh, yeah. You gotta holler at me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'd give us a random brilliant before the crafting event, honestly. Now that I've had a chance to kind of sit back and think about that, because the precedent's already there. They've already done it. They've already given us the they've already given us the other event. So the CTP trade-in event. So it only makes sense for them to bring it back. I mean, it was popular. It did go over well, but you know, they also have a history of not repeating the good stuff enough, especially lately. But they've been doing good as far as rewards, so it's kind of hard to really put a fine point on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you go into the comments here of the current event or the this is current, right? Just to show you guys, but this is November 25th, 2025. This is the current Black Friday Play event. And this is the one with all of the events, all of the little mini events and whatnot, right? Now, we haven't gotten an archive event yet, and that is kind of normal. But I think the archive event is going to give us something different, maybe even another tier 4 selector. They have done that in the past, so I think that's where they're going to go with the archive event if we have one. And I think it's kind of typical of Black Friday that we do. But if you get down here in the comments of this thing, the Crystal Vault was a mess. Felt like Collector's Vault once the top reward was claimed. The vault closed 2 days before. Wow. Worst events, period. So they've been kind of, I gotta translate these, but they've been kind of slacking as far as the events are concerned. Is that premium selector for all or excluding those? Let's see. Cheap devs couldn't give away a tier 2 premium selector. I mean, they kind of are in a sense, but yeah. Yeah, first time in history of the game they're giving away premium bios, selector for any premium character by mission so easily. Yeah. So, there are a few complaints with the current missions, but, if you go over and you look over this thing that dropped with the anniversary, no, this is the can't miss deals. With the CTP thing, right? And you scroll down here, Wild's the only one I crafted for 2 of them. So a lot of people didn't understand how the event worked, and they didn't put together that you needed the extra token for the brilliant plus a brilliant token, right? So that did create a bit of a kerfluffle, if you will. But for those of us that understood what was going on, and they came back and made it right amongst the players. So yeah, they did come back and try to make it right amongst the players. I think they refunded the tokens or the CTPs or something like that, or they just gave the selector. Or it was something along those lines. But because you could only craft each one of these one time, as far as the tokens were concerned, except this one, and then you could only trade in the normal once. That kind of made it an issue because that wasn't necessarily clear. So yeah, like this guy said. So I crafted 4 regular CTPs and got 1. That's a rip. Yeah, bro, if you crafted 4 regular CTPs, you kind of screwed up because the event clearly says, or when they came out with it, you know what I mean? It clearly said that you take 10 converter parts, 150 gold, and then that gives you one of these things. Now, I forget what was in this chest. Advanced material chest contains tier 4, tier 3, and tier 2 materials, and potential enhancement materials. So that's what was in there. I think you only needed so many of these converter parts to do everything else. So really what people should have been crafting the most was the converter parts, because you needed 50 of them. But after that, you know, the rest of them, you just trade them in for these chests. Then you craft you 2 of these tokens, 1 of these tokens, 1 of these tokens. And then with that, you were able to get 1 of each CTP. So really it was supposed to be 4 CTPs total, 1 brilliant, 1 mighty, 2 regular, and that would get you 1 regular CTP selector, 1 mighty CTP selector, and 1 brilliant. So it's kind of a 4 for 3 sort of situation. But like I said, personally, I think that's one of the things they should bring back. I think players will have a better understanding of how it works now, honestly. And I think the devs would have a better understanding on how to put it out there more effectively, to where players won't have an issue. All right, let's pop off again. Ooh, got sniped. I stayed in that animation too long. I really don't have time to be trying to push World Boss right now. So we just gonna turn this down for the rewards. Oh, Oh. So yeah, hopefully they hook us up, man. Because I kind of want to say, you know, for most of the community, or for the majority at least, you know, I kind of felt like they understood the event and didn't oh, let's switch. Didn't overextend. You know, but that, like I said, that's something they can easily fix as far as the dev end is concerned, and limit the amount of premium items that can be spent or something, so players don't overextend. Well, like I said, you adjust your craft limits where, you know, people can actually get off regardless of what types of CTPs they have to sacrifice. Whoa. Yeah, we ain't gonna change the strikers. We'll just use them as is. I don't think it's gonna make much difference either way. Then we did have to drop 875 crystals for the Marvel Girl uniform because I'd rather do that. Actually, I could have gotten away with just paying for the restriction, but in the event that Marvel Girl, I won't say the Marvel Girl uniform gets good, because, you know, by and large and typically older uniforms never become meta again. But they do pop up as uniform optional sometimes. So I'm kind of future-proofed in that regard. And, you know, unlocked as far as the ones that I didn't have that particular optional for. We'll open up those chests here in a little bit. Oh, the shiny book selector, huh? Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Oh wow, his tier 4 builds extra slow. It's not resetting shit to 4 seconds. Yeah, that's freaking crazy. So apparently Doc Ock is bugged in this game mode at least. Because I should be able to come right back with it. All right. Almost done. Cool. Okay, we're not gonna jump in there just yet. Actually, yeah. Yeah, we do need to come and do this. Let's see. It'd be nice if I could catch a jug on the gears. Because it has been a while. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. To 30, baby, on the most expensive one. So let's say, can we double up? Couple of them 5 shots is nice. Hey. Hey, and another to 30 on the way already. Can I catch a jug? Oh, that would have been a nice finisher. 2 30s and then a 29 and a 28. And yeah, we already got all the skills done, so we're good there. Hell yeah. And Gwenpool about to be all the way live. Do I have a I would have to re-roll them, and I don't want to do that. Okay. If I have somebody else with the energy that I can pull. I could pull Cable's energy. Could pull Moon Knight's energy. I think that's what I'm gonna do. We'll give him that for now. Who had the energy? Gwenpool? Who knows? I might get lucky. Nope. So just a regular mighty, but 5 and 15. So it's a damn good mighty. Okay. Okay. So she will definitely be ready. And then I gotta figure this guy out. Oh, and is Winwoo ready? Actually? So I think it'll be, yeah. Yeah, I think I was trying to double up on the tier 3s. Oh, we were just gonna have us a damn party. Whenever we got to tier 3 and tier 4 and characters and shit. So We're gonna do Winwu for the hell of it. We're gonna do leader for, you know, just the additional lead support sort of situation. And then of course Gwenpool, Mephisto. I'm gonna try to do all of them relatively close to each other, if not in the same damn video. So I got some plans. What the hell was I doing? Zombie survival. Eh. Actually, you know what? Let's just try a good farming team. Here, and then we can throw Storm out there because everybody can then benefit from the elemental damage. We can throw Coulson out there. Mm. I'm gonna do it like that. We'll see if I can keep from getting my hat brought to me. Yeah, but I will say that the devs do kind of have a bad habit of making things one-offs that shouldn't be, and I do hope that that's not the case for the CTP trade-in thing. You know, I'm really hoping they bring that thing back. And in the larger scheme of things, they wouldn't really be losing much. They'd be gaining much more than they'd be losing by player retention in the long haul of things. You know what I mean? And being able to get something as decent as a CTP selector, or a mighty or a brilliant selector. I mean, typically, you know, you see those things in like bingos and shit like that, where you have to spend a ridiculous amount of crystals to even participate, and that's not most players, you know. But by that same regard, you take a whale event like that and you come up with something like this out of it, where players can take all of these trash CTPs that they've been getting from things like the 28-day login event and whatnot, and are then able to come in here and get some of the most newest, latest stuff. Even if it's only every 6 months, it's like, okay, I can plan for this, right? So that's absolutely huge for free-to-play players, for low spenders. It's such a win, you know what I mean? And converting those players to active spenders by giving them incentives like this, it can only be good for the game. You know, even if they don't turn into a whale, you know, that could be the difference in a player remaining VIP 0 and, you know, getting that first Stark stash. Just saying. And that may be all they ever buy, but, you know, it's something. May not be to the same tune of, you know, what you're used to getting, but yeah. Okay, the third skill is restricted. Mm. Okay. Run this thing a couple more times. Actually, let's see what it's like if I do. Mm, 10% chance when attacking. Loss to all allies increase. Damage to supervillain for 5 seconds on a 10-second cooldown. 30% HP, 20% damage reduction, 70% target dodge rate, 65% damage to boss types, another 45 damage to supervillains, another 105 damage to supervillains, 65% ignore target dodge rate, 20% crit rate, 55% elemental damage. Yeah. Yeah, you can forget being able to dodge anything. Hmm. This might be the secret sauce. Rogue and Storm. With Dazzler and Phil Coulson support, I may be able to find something better than Valkyrie. I'd have to give it some thought. I could do Fury for the Liberation. Yeah, I should definitely see if this team can push higher. Let me see. See, he mostly applies to universal types. Yeah. Yeah, just straight up more energy attack. That's not a bad option. Damn it. Yeah, like I said, it would be the brilliant. Liberation. They should have made that apply to all allies, just like Coulson. I don't understand why they didn't do that. Yeah, I gotta go check Gorilla Monsoon and see what he has, and we're back up to 7,000. So we may do some artifact pulling. We also have a 5-star Gore, so that's nice as well. Ooh. He probably won't be my first. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that. He probably won't be my first choice to tier 4 when and if he does get a tier 4 in his uniform. So as far as his 5-star is concerned, I may use it for a reroll, but I could come to regret that later. The same thing with his artifact. It's kind of too good to pass up, but I don't want to lose the 4-star reroll. So let's throw Fury in there. Ignore dodge rate. About 30%, 55% element, 20% guaranteed crit, 50% damage to supervillains, 20% supervillain damage reduction, 65% boss damage, 70% ignore target dodge rate, another 60% to supervillains, 30% defense, 70% or super armor, immunity incapacitation, 30% HP, 20% damage reduction with the 10% damage to supervillains. And the buff from the, yeah. So that might be enough to put him over the top. What does his artifact do? Ignore dodge rate and damage to boss types. So definitely something worth getting at a high level. Now, as far as the tier 4 selector, as far as the characters that I can pick, I'm kind of limited because of the tier 4s that I do have and because of the limitations of the selector itself. So my choices basically boil down to, and you can throw Sharon Rogers in there, but not really in League for a World Boss Merchant. Although I could go for having another Blast female. And that's kind of the beauty of my roster is I can always take on another PvE, almost any type of character. I mean, for instance, I have blast types, but most of them are mutants, so anything where they're locked out, you know, that's where I need a Sharon Rogers or a somebody like that. So but Black Bolt comes to mind kind of immediately. He would step in and solve an immediate need for me. At that position. So for Inhumans for the New Day in ABX ABL, so there is kind of that caveat. I'm gonna try one there, and we're gonna dump the rest of it in here. Hopefully get lucky. And we don't. and we don't got enough to do any other gears, so that's cool. Like I said, I'm gonna push it to the limit. If I can get 2 of them to 30 and 1 of them close, which I'm kind of working my way into that position. If I can finish that other one off, or at least get it to 29, I think I'll be in a pretty good spot. As long as I don't get killed on that last gear for like a 30 roll, we'll be in a pretty good position. As far as some of the other tier 4s I have to knock out. Now, Shalabal, we do have her 6th star to get. As well as the mastery for this Joker. So that's kind of out of the way. We're gonna probably hang on the bios because I know it's probably gonna cost somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000. Yeah. Oh. Let's try 3,000. Goodness gracious. Yeah. So we're gonna hang off on that for a little bit. So that's kind of what has been chewing up my gold, but not too worried about that. Oh, that would have been a nice pickup. So no dice there. Let's see about the booty box. And let's see about the CTP. Freaking refinement. So that right there is the very reason why they need to bring that event back. Another freaking useless egg. So yeah. I suppose ignore dodge isn't half bad. All right. Okay, so we need to participate in that. That'll get me up to 230. Then it'll just be the 10 in the morning, plus the timeline joint. We do have enough to refresh and knock that out now. But we're gonna wait. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Use our own lead. Or maybe even Valkyrie lead. Yeah. Wait a minute, she is physical, isn't she? Yeah. That's not right, but that's okay. Okay, she has a destruction. Nice. All right. Nice. Oh, and I'm gonna be able to get off one more awaken rotation. Nice. Almost 10 million. About to cleaned up them rotations a little bit. We might have had it. But all the more reason why I need to build Crescent. Oh, wait a minute. Human supervillain. Well, we can definitely put her out there and score more. Yeah. Gets kinda sketchy. Hold on. Are we just gonna lead with the proc skill? Just off rip. We still didn't start out right. There we go. Mm. Nice. All right. Mm. Lost a lot of damage there because they wouldn't let me cancel. Oh. All right, Scarlet. Ooh. Nice. Pulled off the 8 million with finesse. But yeah, we're gonna see. We might have a little bit of a competition going on over there. Okay, let's get these matchups right. Let's see. Mm, maybe we do that. And then we do that. There we go. I hope I shouldn't have left them the same. I had them, but we'll see. Not looking too good. Not looking too good. Got the hero buff going on Sentry. Couldn't overcome it. This might be bad. Ooh. Okay, Noah was able to pull it off. Ooh. Can we pull this off? Hey, that's what I'm talking about. We might get the gentleman sweep. Oh, wow. Right there at the end. Are you serious? Such cheese. Such cheese. Okay. So we got the 5 tokens from there. For the event quest. So like I said, we just need the other 5 runs from here. And then the 10 on the reset for the daily, which there's nothing that we can really do about. But we do kind of have to discuss who we are going to use this thing on. Because like I said, not really a lot for me to choose from in here. We can still get Cap. We can still get Iron Man. Black Bolt would probably, like I said, do the most for my roster immediately because of the new day of ABX ABL requiring a Inhuman, and I do already have the seasonal uniform for him, so there is that. And then if these required for any more tier 4 content, I could slap a rage on him or go find a rage and put on him and proceed. Really wouldn't want to put a competition on him at this point. But I'm not sure how much the new day of ABX ABL will add to his value. I'm not even sure if he's stronger than Medusa at this point. I could pick up Doc Ock as well, but I don't think that he'd be doing anything for me that Hulk wouldn't be able to do. Um, Similarly, you know, you got the same thing going on with Moon Knight and Shadow Shell, both of whom I could pick up. And then Sharon Rogers also falls into that category. Cap is an interesting pickup because he would be the one that I would build for PvP. Ant-Man is also an option. So really, I do have a lot of options, honestly. I purposefully left a bunch of the original tier 4s so I would have these options later as freebies. So you know, the ones that I do have are Venom, Storm, Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, Black Widow, Thor, and I think that's it. So everyone else is available. Like I said, mostly human options, with the exception of Thor and Black Bolt and Storm, two of which I have already. So that would be the third. It'll kind of be a cleanup maneuver. And I don't think I've pushed Black Bolt to level 70. So that's the other interesting thing. I think I've already pushed the others to level 80. Yeah, Iron Man is level 80 with his newest, latest uniform. Now the thing is, the other characters do have newer uniforms. So, you know, I got the newest, latest for Cap. All zombified out. Even Moon Knight's uniform is newer. I would have to pay for the new uniform for Shirag whenever it comes around this Christmas, but it is coming around in a few months. Now, where is Black Bolt? Yeah, so he's just level 72. So, like I said, I do already have the seasonal for him. And like I said in previous videos, I think that an Inhuman update is coming sooner rather than later. So there is kind of that caveat. As well. Like I said, I can always come back and tier 4 Medusa. So you know, just to have that added value of support, even though she would only be buffing the one Inhuman. When you put it like that, it's like, well, do you really want to? You really want to buff this guy? or spend the support for the one, you know, kind of situation. You know, if the newer seasonals are anything like some of the older ones, hopefully they'll tend to hold their value a lot longer. You picked up Black Bolt. Yeah. And see, that's kind of what I was thinking along those lines. Maybe if I had a cooler uniform for Doc Ock, I may consider, you know, picking him up. This may actually be easy pickings. Especially if I backload. Here, I just need to be able to get past one of those teams. Yeah, that takes all of that away. Yeah, we'll try that. Probably should have switched this one though for the super villain thing. Yeah. Figured I might drop the first two. As long as I can clean up the last three, I'll be happy. Okay. Yes, sir. We are in business. Yeah. Yeah, this is a lot. Should be. This Deadpool shouldn't be too much of an issue, and Mephisto is really the main issue, but without any support, pretty easy pickings. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he's another one that's trying to gap weaknesses in the roster. So let's go Sentry there. Let's go yeah, we need to do straight up superhero here. Let's go. Actually, let's do that. See if we can get some early reflect with Emma. Let's say maybe sometimes if they can combine, I can get the snipe. I needed that win. Yeah. Yeah, I needed that second win. Let's see here. Yeah, I gotta be able to get deep. I gotta get at least one of the first three. Hopefully the first one. It doesn't look like that's gonna happen. Damn it. Can Surfer get off on this guy? Damn it. Damn, I got my ass whooped. Okay. Okay. Anywho, we'll go. Okay. Not that one. Yeah, we got the Future Pass. Got the Black Friday Special Pass. Yeah. Event mission. ahead and pick up here. Okay. We want at least one more X-Force. Doesn't look like we're gonna get it. I think we got one more shot at this tomorrow after the reset, so we'll go in again. For that, let's see, team up collection. So we got a couple of these. Got the symbiotes collection we can go after. We got a bunch of uniforms we have to take to legendary. Did we ever get this one with Carnage? Yeah, it's just at rare. And then the newer one with Carnage doesn't count. Kind of need to go there with Scream as well. So yeah, quite a ways to go here. Let's see what else we got. We got the Guardians of the Galaxy joint. Reach Heroic with 13 out of the 17 uniforms. How many characters are being affected by this? None of which I have at tier 4. Only ones worth a damn tier 4ing are going to be Adam, Beta Ray Bill, maybe Gamora. So I don't know. And then I think Star-Lord does count as an alien, so he may be in the mix one of the newer ABX ABL days. Let's take a shot. Let's see. No dice. Let's try on the other one. Oh, we actually got a couple of shots here. Hey, we got action on the one that doesn't matter. We did get an additional pierce up from those guys. And then for this one, we're gonna have to get in here and grind for it. So what else is new? So many affected tier 4s. Now the good news is I do have a couple of them that I can just outright buy for gold. and get the tokens. So not gonna do that right now. But having action is nice. And I can still level this thing up. So let's go ahead and go for the next one. No action. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. I think this is a good spot to go ahead and wrap this up. We'll go out to some story fragment farming. It's been a pleasure hanging out with y'all. Once again, y'all like, comment, share, sub. Make sure y'all sound off in the comments. Make sure y'all push that notification bell so you don't miss out whenever we drop something. And y'all let me know what y'all think. Should they bring back this event for the CTP trade-in that they dropped at the anniversary, where you can get you one normal, one mighty, and one brilliant CTP on a trade-in of essentially 4 CTPs for 3, or no, you trade in 4 CTPs and you get 3. So it's basically how this thing boiled down. All for no more than running dispatch mission and dimension missions in order to get the materials. And all gold cost, so completely free to play. Like I said, one of the better events that we've had in the game. And honestly, if you think about it, if you've been playing since the anniversary and you've been waiting for this thing to come back, you've probably gotten a lot of trash CTPs from now to then. Maybe even some that you've smashed together and gotten lucky and gotten a brilliant energy or a brilliant destruction, and you're really wanting like a brilliant competition or a brilliant rage. You know, this thing also made it where you could get some of the newer CTPs, because I think the newest CTP at the time was the Liberation. So, and it was included in this event. You know, hopefully they can bring this thing back with a CTP a competition motif or a CTP a veteran motif, you know. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Been a pleasure hanging out with y'all. Hopefully this thing comes back and we can get off. Hell, your boy just got another fucking egg from the last event, so Lord knows I got plenty of CTPs to trade in. Maybe they do it with a little bit of a revamp, maybe a little bit of a twist where they increase the amounts for certain CTPs, so even if you can't get, you know, they could cap it where you only get X amount total, but you know, maybe you got a lot of regulars and not a lot of mighties, or not a lot of brilliance, so you couldn't participate but in so much of the event. You know, maybe they can fix it in such a way where players are able to participate more regardless of the type of CTP that they have. I think that would be great. You know, if you have, say, lesser CTPs, maybe it may be more advantageous for you to craft, say, 4 or 6 normal CTPs, or not craft, but trade in 4 or 6 normal CTPs and trade and get back, you know, one for one type of thing and be able to craft you 3 mighties out of it. I think that would be a smart kind of tweak. It would allow players to mix and match, because, you know, with this thing here, this was the issue here, was the craft limit, because it took a normal token and a brilliant token in order to craft the brilliant here. And you see it says clear as day, 1 brilliant CTP event token, 1 normal CTP event token, and 1,000 other converter parts in order to get this brilliant CTP. Then you needed 100, so you only needed 1,150 total. So you needed 1,000, 100, and then 50. So you only needed 1,150 total of the converter parts. And then if you look here, you could craft 2 of these normal tokens, 1 for the brilliant, 1 for the normal. They could adjust these craft limits. So say if you don't have a brilliant to throw away, because you need a brilliant CTP of any type, but you know, certain players aren't going to have that. I myself only have 2 brilliant CTPs, so you know, yeah, you have players that have more that they can, you know, kind of throw at this thing, but then for those that don't, maybe it'll be more advantageous for them to come in here and say you increase this, say you triple this to 6. Well, what that does is allows you to craft at least 3 mighty CTPs, you know, and that's kind of what it boiled down to in the end anyway. You would get 2 mighties and a brilliant. You know, maybe they switch this thing up to where you can get 2 mighties and a normal, and then that way it's more accessible to everybody. You know, if you craft a brilliant, then you can only craft 1 normal and 1 mighty. But if you're crafting nothing but normal, you can get 6. If you're crafting nothing but mighties, or say you can only craft 2 mighties, maybe the limit for mighty is 2, and then, you know, it'll let you get 1 more normal CTP, and you use that with something else you already got and buff it. It's a lot of ways to skin the cat, so so to speak. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Like I said, it's been a pleasure hanging out with y'all. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the